Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now live at 4 on this Monday. We all survived Snowmageddon.
We had a little bit of everything. What's next? Locusts?
Yeah, I think so. Frogs? I don't know.
Right.
Rain today, but
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad yesterday.
No, and it wasn't too bad Saturday unless I was out at Shredfest. So hi to everybody who came to Shredfest, and thank you. We froze to death. It was very, very cold, but
It could have been worse.
yeah, but the roads were always, at least the roads were fine. It was just wet.
Down south and to the west of us, though, quite a bit of snow, but I think
Yeah.
it's all gone, so that's the good news.
Good.
And here's what's making news on this Monday. 2 people are dead in an interstate crash that may have involved an attempted kidnapping. Rose Schmidt is in Columbia County sorting this story out for us.
In Montello, a woman is charged with killing her ex-boyfriend in a house fire. Our Amanda Quintana is there for that court appearance.
And Joe Biden makes his first official campaign appearance in Pittsburgh and lays out his vision for rebuilding the middle class.
Let's take a look outside today. It's been kind of a soggy day today, but this is the mist. You can see a barn if you
somewhere.
really focus. This is just outside of Sun Prairie.
Yeah, it's that kind of day, kind of a rainy day on Monday. Soggy end of April. The rain's going to continue, and Dana's in the backyard, where it is not raining right now, I don't believe.
It's not. You're right. You're right. Right now we're dry. We're looking at a pretty dry evening for us, but it's still just cloudy and kind of dreary outside. Here's a live look in Platteville from our Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam. That cloud coverage is just undeniable, undesirable. It's a little all over the place for us right now. But again, as we look at our Doppler track, we're not looking at any rain coming through for us currently. We'll wait until tomorrow before we have another round of showers come on through. Just a really unsettled pattern to start off the week for us. Right now we're at 49 in Madison, 51 in Rockford and in Dubuque. Temperature wise, we are well below average. Thankfully, not too much of a breeze for us. It's actually going to be pretty light overnight. Calm currently up towards the Dells, about 3 miles per hour in Madison, 7 though towards Prairie du Chien. So just a little more. Over the next few hours, our temperatures will continue to drop a little bit. We're not going to fall too much. We're actually going to only land at about 40 to start off your Tuesday. We'll be below average again throughout tomorrow afternoon, and then another chance for showers will move in by Tuesday afternoon. But we'll take a closer look at what's ahead for the next few days in just a few minutes. Right now, we'll bounce on over to our first alert traffic to see what's going on the roads. Here's the Beltline at Fish Hatchery Road. Both sides seem to be rolling along smoothly right now. Much of Dane County actually seeing green for us. That's good news. The Beltline not seeing any major delays east or westbound. The estimate starting to see a few more brake lights pop on for us. Mount Horeb and Verona look okay at this time and around the Janesville area. Again, no accidents to report for us currently, but we're keeping a close eye on things. 27 minutes from Janesville to the Beltline, about 19 minutes from Sauk City to Middleton, so just a little more than usual, but 15 minutes from Sun Prairie to downtown. So that should be a quick drive for you this evening. Again, rain's the pattern for us for the next few days, but we'll take a closer look at that future track in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Dana.
First at 4, 2 people are dead after a crash this morning in Columbia County.
Officers say they were trying to locate a car believed to be involved in a kidnapping attempt in the central part of the state. The crash happened on the southbound lane of I-39 at Wisconsin Highway 33, and that's where our Rose Schmidt picks up the story. Rose?
Yes, Mark and Susan, the scene is now clear out here on I-39. That crash is now being investigated by the state's Department of Justice as an officer-involved incident because 2 people died and officers were involved in that chase. DOJ tells us that officers were trying to locate a car involved in a Marathon County kidnapping investigation. It happened just before 8 this morning. The suspect's car crashed into the back of a semi-trailer, and the driver and passenger were pronounced dead at the scene. Several agencies are involved in this investigation, but DOJ is handling that case. Their investigators will continue to collect evidence, and then they will hand this case over to the Columbia County DA's office. Now, I also did reach out to the Department of Justice, but a spokesperson could not tell me whether more information will be released tonight in this case. Back to you.
Rose Schmidt reporting live. Rose, thank you.
The woman accused of starting a fatal house fire in Montello last weekend made her first appearance in court this afternoon.
42-year-old Frances Rittman is being charged with killing her ex-boyfriend, 43-year-old Daniel Gilmartin, in that fire. Our Amanda Quintana is in Montello, where the appearance just ended. Amanda?
Yes, well, Frances Rittman appeared from the jail by video in court today. She is facing first-degree intentional homicide, as well as 2 charges for arson. One of those charges is for burning a couch in Gilmartin's garage. The second is for burning his house with him inside of it. Now, firefighters found his body after that fire on Saturday. Friends and neighbors of Gilmartin tell me that he and Rittman had an on and off relationship. Court records show that he tried to evict her from the house late last year. The claim was dismissed when she agreed to move out by the end of January. He told friends at Tamber's, the bar down the street where he was a regular, that he broke up with Rittman and cut off all contact right before the fire.
I was shocked, but I immediately felt like I knew what happened. It was a volatile relationship, and many of things have gone on in the last year that I felt like I knew right off the bat.
Rittman told investigators that she intended to cause the fire to kill both herself and Gilmartin, but she changed her mind and then left. She didn't call for help, and instead she went to the dollar store. An autopsy determined he was still alive during that fire. Now, this was supposed to be a bond hearing today, but her attorney asked that it be pushed back until tomorrow morning so that she, the attorney, and the judge can all appear in person. Now, if convicted, she faces life in prison.
Amanda Quintana live in Montello. Thank you, Amanda.
UW-Madison is looking to make its legal studies courses more inclusive.
This is in response to an incident that caused a student to walk out of a lecture last week after a teacher invited an ex-felon convicted of sexual assault to speak to his criminal justice class. Jamie Perez is here with more details on what happened. Jamie?
Well, no one will tell us who the person was that came and spoke with this class, but we know this happened in a legal studies course, mostly for freshmen and sophomores. And the student has asked to not be identified, and they said that the guest speaker walked into the class and basically spoke about his incarceration as a convicted rapist. Now, the teacher said he warned the students there would be explicit content discussed, but didn't know the guest speaker would tell the class what he was convicted for. He also said the point of the guest speaker was to hear from someone who has been to prison and could talk about what it's like to re-enter society after serving their time. According to a UW spokesperson, Meredith McClone, she said, "We realize that the subjects dealt with in some classes can be distressing. Our intent is to ensure such material has a clear educational purpose and is handled sensitively with notice given to students so they can be prepared for when it's presented or make alternative arrangements with the instructor." The student took their concerns to the Dean of Students but declined to give us an interview, but they said they feel their voice was heard and considered by the university. The student and university staff are now talking with each other about how the school can be more inclusive going forward on topics like this that may be sensitive, even triggering to some.
Jamie, thank you.
More than a dozen parents were arraigned in a Boston federal court today on new charges in the nationwide college admissions scheme. 19 defendants, including actress Lori Loughlin and her fashion designer husband, are facing additional charges of conspiracy to commit fraud and money laundering. Federal prosecutors claim the high-profile couple paid $500,000 to get their two daughters, into the University of Southern California. The criminal complaint against them details evidence including emails and recorded phone calls.
If they have real physical evidence against Lori Loughlin, she and her husband are going to be in for a quick guilty verdict and a big punishment.
In all, 36 parents, coaches, and administrators have been arrested for allegedly working with college consultant William Singer to cheat on SATs or falsify student profiles.
Attorney General William Barr is scheduled to testify this week over his role in the release of special counsel Robert Mueller's report. Barr is scheduled to testify before the House Judiciary Committee on Thursday over the release of the report, but now he's threatening not to show up after Democrats insisted that lawyers from the committee be allowed to ask some of the questions. The White House is pushing back against threats from congressional Democrats to subpoena Barr if he doesn't show up.
Frankly, they're just acting really childish. It's almost embarrassing to the House Democrats, the way that they're behaving.
We've told them we expect him to show up on Thursday, and we're going to conduct the inquiry as we've said we would. If he doesn't show up on Thursday, we'll have to go to subpoenas.
Chairman Nadler has already subpoenaed former White House counsel Don McGahn to testify. The White House says it sees no reason why McGahn should testify and could try to block it.
Former Vice President Joe Biden is making his first official campaign appearance in Pittsburgh at this hour. He's laying out his vision for rebuilding the middle class.
As we rebuild it, we need this rebuilding to be all-inclusive. opening the doors to opportunity for all Americans, no matter their race, their gender, who they love, no matter who or where they're from, no matter whether or not they have a disability. All America has to be included as we rebuild.
Biden won the endorsement of the nation's largest firefighters union, injecting key organizing support into the start of his presidential campaign.
Groundbreaking and Oscar-nominated film director John Singleton has died following a massive stroke. Singleton's debut film in 1991 was Boys in the Hood. It was considered groundbreaking for its depiction of the lives of young black men on the violent streets of South Central LA. Singleton was the first African-American and the youngest ever Academy Award nominee for Best Director for his work on that film. The filmmaker was hospitalized April 17th following a stroke and was on life support. John Singleton died at an LA hospital this afternoon. He was 51 years old.
New numbers show measles is continuing to spread in record numbers. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is now reporting 704 cases of measles in 22 states. That's more cases in a single year than the U.S. has seen in the past 25 years total. And it's only April. 71% of those infected with the extremely contagious disease were not vaccinated. Most of the cases are from 3 outbreaks, one in Washington state, which is likely over, and 2 large outbreaks still ongoing in New York.
The outbreaks in New York are being fueled by myths and misinformation that is leading people to not get vaccinated. Under-vaccination in these communities is clearly what's driving these outbreaks.
You have a First Amendment right to practice your own religion, but you do not have the right to endanger your children or worse, other people's children.
New York officials are fighting back against the anti-vaccination movement, supporting a bill to end all non-medical exemptions for children.
A little later on Live at 4, Dr. Zorba Pastor will be here to take your medical calls and questions. Mark and I will let you know when it's time to call in. But still to come, we all know owning a dog can have therapeutic benefits.
But what if circumstances don't allow you to own a pup? How about a fake Fido that looks and acts like the real thing? More on this robo-dog when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4. At her
Welcome back. The CEO of Boeing says the grounded 737 MAX is ready for final certification.
The fleet has been idled following 2 deadly crashes. Dennis Muhlenberg addressed the ongoing safety concerns with the 737 MAX fleet during the annual shareholders meeting in Chicago. The Federal Aviation Administration grounded the MAX 8 after the Lion Air and Ethiopian Airlines deadly crashes. Investigators believe a sensor and the MCAS anti-stall system malfunctioned on both planes. Muhlenberg says Boeing is finalizing a software upgrade to the 737 MAX.
With a certified software update implemented, the 737 MAX will be one of the safest airplanes ever to fly.
Late today, families of those Canadians killed on the Ethiopian Airlines crash filed 10 lawsuits in Chicago against Boeing and a Minnesota company that manufactured the allegedly defective part.
Stocks posted gains across the board today amid some positive earnings reports. The Dow Industrials added 11 points, closing at 26,554. The NASDAQ Composite Index was up 15, and the S&P 500 added 3 for a record close. We've all heard about therapy dogs, but what about a therapy robo-dog?
Jeff Nguyen shows us how a robo-dog named Jenny is helping to improve one man's life.
How does she feel? Smooth and really soft.
For Autumn Kerr, getting her dad Dennis to smile sometimes requires an artificial touch.
For me, it looks and sounds like a dog.
Kerr's talking about Jenny, a prototype robot therapy dog designed to help patients who are unable to care for a real pet. Dennis has Parkinson's disease and has difficulty moving and speaking.
She's calming. You could just pet her. She's not active and all over the place. Sometimes with pets, they can get a little rambunctious.
She is covered with touch sensors. She can feel how and where she's being touched.
Tom Stevens created his company Tombot after his mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and her beloved dog had to be taken away.
My mom was devastated. So I started looking at substitutes for live animal companions.
USC's Dr. Maya Matarik says therapy pets may help patients cope with loneliness, anxiety, and stress.
There are now increasing numbers of studies that show that people really thrive and feel better when they have some amount of physical contact in their lives.
And there's some evidence robotic companions can do the same. Jenny barks and wags her tail just like a real dog. She also responds to touch, creating a connection for people like Dennis.
Something like this would help him engage his mind in something else, calm his body. So I think it's a wonderful tool. Can you help pet Jenny with me?
The robots go on the market next year for about $450. Jeff Nguyen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Fascinating.
It is fascinating. The synthetic fur dogs, the robo-dogs, were created by Jim Henson's Creature Shop, the fur on the dogs, which of course produced the Muppets.
You have to take it out?
Yeah, right.
For some people, I think
so too.
It'll be very helpful.
Yeah.
Well, there's more to come at 4. Is your cell phone attached to you at the hip?
Well, then you're being tracked without you even knowing it. We'll find out who's using that information for what coming up after Dana's forecast.
Take a look at this. A boater accidentally hit the throttle on his boat when he was reaching for something, and that bumped it up to full speed, sending him overboard. Some other boaters raced to pull him out of the water on a lake in Georgia. The spinning out-of-control boat eventually hits a tree stump in the water, sending it to a muddy area close to shore. After it gets bogged down in the shallow area, the owner quickly gets back into the water, manages to jump into his boat, and throw her into neutral.
With a valuable lesson learned.
Look at it trying to push its way onto the shore there. Everybody's okay.
That could have gone real wrong, real fast.
That's good. No boating in our immediate future.
No, not at all. Of course, spent a lot of time on Thursday and Friday walking along the lake when it was sunny. Not so much on Saturday.
No, now it's pretty soggy and chilly.
Now it's just soggy and chilly. It really feels like we've kind of backed up a month or so in our forecast. We are looking at a pretty soggy few days for us. The scene's not going to change too much. Unfortunately, we'll take a closer look at what all is ahead right after the break. Everything's just a little wet outside right now on the ground, the trees, your car. Got some rain coming through this morning, of course, and all that snow melt for us from Saturday evening. Right now, I guess it's a little good news for the grass. Everything seems pretty green and lush for us. Now, our high today only at 49. It's kind of close to where we're sitting at currently. We should have been in the low 60s for afternoon high, so it's been well below average. Just a little cool outside for us right now. Again, not too chilly, not too awful, but we should be quite a bit warmer, a little more mild outside for the end of April and as we head into May. Our overnight low early this morning at 40 degrees right on the forecast. That's pretty close to average, but not a big increase for us in our temperatures today with that cloudy sky overhead. Our Our temps don't get to move around all too much. Right now we're really cloudy. Our visible cloud track just shows that cloud coverage throughout the state. Our Doppler track, though, not showing any rainfall for us currently in Wisconsin or off to the west. We'll get a little bit of a break for us overnight before just another round of rain starts to move on through for us. We have a trough right on through the state, draping down into northern Illinois. This low pressure, though, up in northwest Indiana is sending some more showers into Ohio and up into the edge of Michigan. That's that same area of rain that passed through us early this morning, and now it's continuing on east. We're going to watch just a trailing effect. These areas of low pressure continuing to pass just south of us, bringing rainfall right up into southern Wisconsin every single day this week until finally we get to Friday. And then we get a little sun back for us by Friday afternoon. So overnight, plan on a mostly cloudy sky. Will be cloudy also to start off your Tuesday. The showers start to develop in the afternoon, and we do have the chance for an isolated thunderstorm or two. Early Wednesday morning, we still have rainfall. Again, that low pressure is passing south of us, but the rain reaching all the way up through the state. It's not until later in the day on Wednesday we'll get a little bit of a break, a little dry spell there for us. By Thursday morning, though, still cloudy and still rainy. The rain develops again for Thursday. A chance for thunderstorms mixed in for Thursday afternoon. May see a few showers lingering later in the evening, especially on the eastern edge of the state. And then by Friday morning, we get a clearing sky, mostly sunny sky. Friday's pleasant before, you guessed it, another chance for showers starts to develop late in the day on Saturday. At least we get a little bit of sunshine on Saturday, too. So a closer look to home here. Overnight low temperatures will fall close to 40 by early tomorrow morning. A similar start to the day to what we had today. Cloudy sky expected throughout the morning and the afternoon. A few isolated showers possible. Most of the rain's going to hold off, though, until your evening commute. And then we're going to continue to deal with showers, heavy rain at times, and an afternoon thunderstorm later in the day on Tuesday. Wednesday, again, that rain coming through early in the morning, and then a bit of a break for us later in the evening. It'll be a little windy as those showers do pop up for us later on Tuesday. Our wind speeds will stay pretty calm early in the morning, but those gusts will start to pick up anywhere from 25 to 30 miles per hour as those thunderstorms get a little closer. Rainfall totals through this event for tomorrow and into Wednesday morning will be much higher along the state line and starting to creep a little more to the southeast for us, but still looking to pick up another half an inch to an inch for us in Madison. Again, that's into Thursday morning, and we might see another round of rain come through later in the day on Thursday. Overnight low of about 40. Our breeze will be pretty light, but still coming from the northeast. We may see some patchy fog develop for us overnight. Not a huge concern heading into tomorrow, but wouldn't be surprised, especially on those lower lying areas. Tomorrow afternoon will be in the mid-50s. May get a degree or two more than we got today, but still below average. Mostly cloudy with showers starting to develop, and that chance for an afternoon or late afternoon or evening thunderstorm certainly possible for us. So pretty cool outside, though, to be in the mid-50s for us. Wrapping up our April and heading into May with some showers. We're in the upper 50s for Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday is that chance for rain and isolated thunderstorms, not nearly as scattered for us as what we'll see for Wednesday. Friday we have sun, and that sun is going to help us get into the lower 60s. Saturday we will see some sun for the morning and early afternoon. We'll be in the mid 60s, and then the chance later on in the day on Saturday into Sunday for some rain to develop yet again. We're in a bit of a soggy pattern for the next several days. A lot of moisture passing south of us. Of course, we're right included in those tracks there with some rain and thunderstorm chances.
So your in-laws visiting from the Carolinas were here to see the snow?
They were, and I know all of us are over it. They were so giddy about it. We had to go on a walk on Saturday evening through the snowflakes. We only had, a dusting on the green, but South Carolina folk were super excited about that.
Good that they seize the day, because now you see it, now you don't. It was gone immediately.
Exactly. And it's going to be liquid from here on out.
It's going to be liquid from here on out, not going to.
Hopefully.
So, but yes, at this point, if we have something in May, then I'm hanging up the hat.
All bets are off. We're all moving to South Carolina.
Yes, everyone can pack up and go.
All right, Dana, thank you.
Thank you, Dana. People may not realize that their phone can follow them. More than 1,000 apps reportedly collect location data, and that is fueling a multi-billion-dollar market.
Tony DeCopel was able to receive some of this data and see how people are tracked without them knowing.
Your submission has been received.
Over the winter, we began calling, emailing,
send,
and texting our way into the location data business. Location data typically comes from apps that log the movements of a person's phone. Often people aren't even aware the terms and conditions of these programs allow the information to be collected. The data is then sold to aggregators who who in turn sell it to advertisers looking for consumer trends. We wanted to know who else gets a hold of that information.
All right, here we go.
6 major data companies pitched us their product,
Okay.
unaware they were actually talking to a journalist.
The breadcrumbing effect? What is that?
And all promised information on tens of millions of phone users every day, including at home. With a few emails and a phone call, we got this sample of data showing the movements of more than 1,500 phones over the course of a single day in one of the richest zip codes in America, Greenwich, Connecticut.
And the fact that you were able to get so much data on the American citizens that live up here is quite disturbing.
Adam Scott Want studies big data at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice. He helped us analyze the risks in a neighborhood like this one.
That is a big house.
No names or phone numbers were tied to the data, but it was easy to figure out who each phone belongs to based on where they spend their nights here in Greenwich. One phone pinged in the morning inside a $7 million mansion. The person then visited a country club before heading downtown and returning home. Another phone pinged someone's location 231 times as he or she left home for an hour to run an errand.
It's compromising information.
It's extremely compromising information.
But it's perfectly legal. No federal law limits the collection or use of this data, though there have been calls for regulation. We wanted to find out how the people being tracked feel about all this.
Is he coming home soon?
Of the 2 homeowners we were able to reach, one told us he was alarmed, but didn't want to appear on camera. The other's reaction caught us by surprise.
Why would I care? I don't think I want to do it. I'm not worried about it.
You're not worried about it?
No.
Now, we asked executives at 8 different location data companies for an interview, and all 8 declined or never got back to us. Some told us that they do take privacy seriously and have safeguards in place, but none was willing to divulge which apps are selling this data, let alone who's buying the data.
Tony DeCopel, CBS News, New York.
And you can adjust which apps are allowed to collect your location information within your phone's settings menu.
So if you turn your location services off on your phone, that's not enough.
No,
you have to do it for each individual app.
Each individual app.
Wow.
So
It raises some interesting questions.
that's happened to me. I've been somewhere and all of a sudden there's an ad.
Oh, yeah,
on
that
Facebook.
happens to me all the time. I know.
Somebody's getting
It's
rich off of our
unsettling.
movements. Well, there's more to come at 4. It's time to meet our pet of the week.
Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here. She's in the green room with Willow. We'll meet this bunny when Live at 4 continues.
Here's a live look at a sort of a hazy UW campus, the Memorial Union, on this dreary Monday.
Last week of classes on campus.
Really?
And the next week is finals week. Yep.
Well, you forget what the date is.
Right.
The weather's been so weird.
Right.
Well, it is time for Potentially Yours here on Live at 4.
Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here. Hi, Marissa.
Hi.
Who'd you bring today?
We have the very sweet Willow, and he is a young adult Holland Lop mix.
Holland Lop.
Yep, it's a breed of rabbit, and that means he's got these cute little floppy ears.
Instead of the ears that stick up.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about him. What's his story?
Well, he's a sweet guy, but also a little bit shy, and he was surrendered to Dane County Humane Society along with several other rabbits. Unfortunately, his owners were in increasingly bad health and weren't able to take care of them.
Oh.
And that's a thing to keep in mind. Rabbits live quite a while.
They really do, and so him being a young adult means that you're going to be having a friend here for many years. They can live between 8 to 10 years, and it's not unheard of to have them live up to 12.
And because he's a little shy, maybe not in a home with young children?
Yeah, we're looking for a home for Willow where it's a little more calm for him. He can get a little bit nervous around quick movements and loud noises, so yeah, a home with maybe not the younger kids.
And we bring this up every time you bring a rabbit out. They're not starter pets. I mean, this is a commitment.
It really is, because not only do they live so long, but they are really intelligent critters, and they need a lot of stimulation, a lot of outside of the cage playtime, and they are going to bring so much joy to your house then.
What do you need if you're thinking about adopting a rabbit in terms of what do they eat and what kind of a space do they need?
Yeah, you want a nice balanced diet of both Timothy hay and a nice pellet, along with some other treats too, but you want to make sure to monitor those treats because they're very smart and they know which treats they like. And you need a nice litter box set up, and Willow is already well on his way to being litter box trained. So he's going to be pretty easy to get 100% there, I think.
That's great.
Spring is here. That means there's baby animals all over the place.
And we're seeing a lot of the wild rabbits actually starting to show up, and we want to just remind people that if you do find an injured or orphaned wild animal, actually go to our website first, giveshelter.org. We're going to walk you through those steps to either get that animal in with an appointment or to make sure that if it is an orphaned animal, it truly is orphaned. A lot of times it can be difficult to tell if parents are just keeping their distance or if they're in trouble.
Call the Humane Society. Last week, we had Red.
We did have Red. He was so cute, and we're so excited for Red that he did find a great home.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's great. That's
There
very
he
there he was.
Oh, that's right. He is a great little guy. All right, let's get Willow a home as well. Marissa, thank you.
Thanks, Marissa. Good to see you.
Go to the website, giveshelter.org, for information on Willow or all of the critters available at the Dane County Humane Society.
When we come back, the doctor is in the studio with us today on Live at 4.
Call now to talk to Dr. Zorba Pastor, 270-9933. Zorba's in the studio with us as soon as mentioned. Hi, Zorba.
Hi.
What's going on today?
We're going to talk about immunizations.
All right, we'll take your calls right after this.
No accidents to report right now, and if we're looking at the Beltline, at least at Fish Hatchery Road, we're seeing movement on both the east and westbound sides. Usually we start to see a little bit of a slowdown on the eastbound side, or at least a little more congestion. Definitely seeing more cars on the roads right now, but no major delays for us currently, which is always a good thing as we look at across southern Wisconsin right now. Again, no major spots to point out. A few little hiccups there along the Beltline and 151, at least heading down through Verona Road towards McKee. Seeing a few delays southbound. All of Mount Horeb looks okay. Verona, again, a few spots where there are a few slowdowns for us, but no major delays, might add. Just about 5 to 10 minutes extra onto your drive if you do have to pass through Verona. Janesville looks fine too, and 3990. Not seeing any major hiccups. Sauk City to Middleton, our times improved just a little bit. We're at 60 minutes. Sun Prairie to downtown, though. We've added a few minutes onto that drive. Janesville to the Beltline. It takes you just about 28 minutes this evening. That's a quick look at traffic.
All right, Dana, thank you. In the last few days, the center of the village of Ai, France has taken on new colors. Hundreds of umbrellas in the sky of Ai. It sounds like a song, doesn't it? The concept called Umbrella Sky Project was born in the streets of Portugal in 2012, based on an idea by the artist Patricia Cunha. She wanted umbrellas in the sky with people moving them above their heads.
That's pretty. I like that.
Beautiful. Dr. Zorba Past is here to take your medical questions.
The number to call is 270-9933. Let's see, we have 2 lines open if you want to give Zorba a call. Hi, good to see you.
Hi, good to be here.
We just talked about the measles a little earlier in this newscast. It's the biggest outbreak in 25 years.
Absolutely. And you know what happens is people think, well, measles, what difference does it make? But the reality is 1 out of 1,000 children will die from measles. If it's your one, it's a lot. And then there's encephalitis, so they can actually lose IQ points. And when I was a kid, there was no measles vaccine. Everyone should get their children immunized for measles. And in fact, you should make sure all your immunizations are up to date. If you don't have the new shingle shot, get your name on the list because they're behind in terms of their manufacturing. You should have, there are 2 pneumonia shots, not just 1, but 2 for adults. They're also for children with special needs and also people who have their spleens out and so on. But one of the things that's nice for people is you can go to the electronic medical record, and most of us now have an EMR from Epic, because that's our hometown person, and you can find out what immunizations you need and then get them. Get immunized. Don't be an anti-vaccinator. They don't know what they're talking about. Vaccines are great. That's why we don't have as many childhood and adult diseases. You can see where I am on this particular discussion.
You're kind of iffy on this whole thing. Let's go to the calls. We'll start with Janine in Prairie du Sac. Hi, what's your call? What's your question? Are you there? Is it Jeannie?
Yeah, hi Jeannie, can you hear us?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi. What can you do about neuropathy from home? Severe damaged nerve pain in your feet and legs?
Well, first of all, neuropathy, pain in your peripheral nerves, usually your foot, and pain in your ankle or in your hands. Very difficult to diagnose some of the time. Quite often it's due to diabetes. Sometimes it can be due to certain medications that you're taking. So there's some medications that actually produce a neuropathy. So number one, you really need to have a diagnosis of what it's from. And then there are medications such as gabapentin, which is a prescription drug that will help you. Some people actually like to put Bengay and things on their foot, and that will help them with a home remedy. But need a diagnosis first to find out what it's from.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Bruce in Janesville. Hi, Bruce. What's your question?
Yeah, I'm 60. First, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm 68 years old and in pretty good health. I do have high blood pressure, but it's well controlled. My total cholesterol is 198, and my LDL is 130, so I'm right on the line. At a recent physical, my doctor suggested that I might want to start taking statins to fight the buildup of plaque. He wasn't a real strong recommendation. So what do you think?
Well, first of all, there's a formula that you can use from the Framingham Heart Study. You put in your blood pressure, your cholesterol. Just look up Framingham Formula Heart Disease. Your doctor probably also has that formula. And if you're above 7.5%, then that means generally a statin. 7.5% risk of having a heart attack or a stroke in the next 10 years, then a statin really is pretty much called for. So you've got to put all those numbers into that and then figure out which way to go.
Say that
Also,
again
family
one time.
history. It is the Framingham Heart Study risk score.
Okay.
And your doctor probably has it. Most of us do.
Interesting.
All
Very
right,
interesting.
let's go to Christine in Verona. Hi, what's your question?
I have a son that is 31 years old. He has a solitary rectal ulcer syndrome.
He's had it for 5 years. I want to know how we can go about it. He has had colonoscopies, and I wanted to know what's the next step we can take.
Well, first of all, I'm not familiar with that particular syndrome, but I am familiar with the fact that if you're not sure what to do, getting a second opinion always makes a difference, either within that organization that you're part of or asking the insurance company to get one outside. So, for instance, from a gastroenterologist from either another medical center, another medical school, such as, Medical College of Wisconsin and Milwaukee, or another center within Madison. But that's the way I kind of approach it when I have a question. And if it's been your child's problem for that long a period of time, I think a second opinion is always useful.
Good advice.
You can't know everything, can you?
No, I can't. Sorry. I can't know everything, that's for sure.
Let's go to Bonnie in Reedsburg. Hi, Bonnie. What's your question?
Yes, hi. Dr. Zorba, I read your article about the red yeast, and I'm on the cholesterol medicine, lovastatin. I've been on it for years. Now, I'm kind of confused. Is this a bad cholesterol?
No. Lovastatin is a great drug. The issue with red yeast was they were touting red yeast as a way of getting your cholesterol down without taking lovastatin. And it turned out that many of the manufacturers were putting the drug lovastatin in the red yeast. In other words, they were grinding it up in China, putting it in the red yeast, and the red yeast was working. Why? Because it had lovastatin. Lovastatin was the first statin. It's a very good drug. Keep it up. Statins work. Red yeast, sometimes it's fake.
Oh, interesting.
All right. Robert, Broadhead, quickly, what's your question? It's not going to be quick. He's 62 years old, wants to know if get a measles shot.
2 measles shots, and you get them 1 year apart, and they get many different forms of measles, and it's worthwhile taking. Everyone needs a measles shot at a certain age, certainly over the age of 65.
And us baby boomers, we probably had the measles.
Yes.
I did, I know.
Yeah, you had the measles, that's right. You actually had the measles, you don't need the measles
There
shot.
you go. Thanks for everyone for calling in. Zorba, thanks for stopping by today.
Great to see you, Zorba.
Good to see you.
We'll have a final check of your forecast coming up. Rain, rain, go away.
Rain, rain, go away, but no snow. Hey. We'll take some rain. It's a little cool outside, of course, and cloudy for us this evening. Looking at our Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville, it is cloudy outside, but it's on our Doppler track. We are not picking any rain for us currently. We'll hold off, actually, until tomorrow afternoon before any more rain moves on in. It is a little cool outside. We're at 48 in Madison. and we'll drop to about 40 for our overnight lows, so our temperatures really aren't going to move around all too much. If you do have any outdoor plans tonight, you'll probably need the jacket, but you won't need the umbrella. I gotta admit, the couch moving for a second, thought it was thunder, and I was like, no, no.
The sofa is on wheels, they're moving around. All right.
I can see that stopped your heart a little bit.
All right, thank you, Dana.
Yep.
Tomorrow you're on Live at 4. Lawns are finally starting to grow. We'll get some tips on taking care of it this summer.
And Consumer Reports looks at the pros and cons of retail membership clubs. We'll talk about that tomorrow on Live at 4.